Yeah, I know, but it's not a problem for me. I will get better once I have more practice. I mean, I have played a little over 100 games of chess in my lifetime. You can't expect me to be a professional player here. Out tonight. They did remember to protect the pawn. Okay. Not the queen, fine. And get out the bishop. They plan to get out their bishop. Okay. I want to play this first. Let's play c5. And then I'm thinking of bringing the knight to c6. I'm fine with this. Actually, more than fine with this, because I want to bring the knight to c6 anyway. Because I'm eyeing this square for the knight. Like, if you want to trade your dark square bishop for my knight, I'm fine with that. That was the plan here. Small advantages. Working, getting some small advantages. And this should relieve some of the pressure. They could also trade their knight, of course. And, like, I'm fine with that too, I guess. I want them to keep the strong bishops. But it also means that I get an attack on the queen here. Well, I suppose that was always coming. But now it blocks the queen's diagonal here. So it's not awful. But I can just retreat the bishop over here. Would I be able to just push queen a5 now? If they retreat with the knight, I can take this pawn here. Is that too greedy? I suppose we're about to find out whether that's too greedy or not. They bring the king up. That's interesting. Where could I take this knight? Take this knight over here. Idea of repositioning it over there later on. Now that they blocked off their queen with these pawns, I think that works. I really think this works. That bishop is pinned to the king now. Trading the bishop. Would I? I guess I need to. Otherwise I need to give up on the queen attack here. So we trade the bishop. I take with the pawn. Now I could bring this knight up over there, as I planned. I guess I will. Let's see what happens here. Ooh, I missed the fork. That was my bad. I totally missed that. But I can take the bishop with the check anyway, so it's not as bad as it looks. I still take there with the check. I think I will try to move the queen up. But this might be a mistake. Maybe I needed to bring the queen back down to defend. Some kind of attack. Not altogether. Not altogether surprising. They're planning to attack here now. If I just bring the rook here. Or if they're planning to attack here. My bishop is getting... It's not completely trapped though. Taking there would allow the queen to check. I could also bring bishop here to attack the rook. They will have to move the rook. Right? I don't see them having strong enough of an attack to not move that rook. But they can't immediately drive me out of here. That gives me time to bring my rook to the defense. This gives me time to bring this rook here. They take, I take. They could take the rook, I would take with the rook. I think I can afford to take here, but I'm not sure. Okay. Have they now well and truly trapped my bishop? No, because I can take the pawn and threaten their queen. Then they take here with the queen. Then I push this pawn up. We'll see. Some ideas how this could work, but I'm not completely sure if it does. There's definitely a chance that it just doesn't. Oh, that one I didn't see. Which pawn? This pawn? It does take with the pawn. I take with the pawn, they take with the queen. This pawn. Yeah, I didn't see that. Sorry about that one. Now it does appear that I am going down in flames, because my queen is here. So this attacking move with the queen turned out to be a major disaster. That was a surprise move, of course. Nothing that I can see right now, no. I'm afraid I have nothing here. That queen move over there was a major problem, after all. My pawn structure is weak, my king is at a difficult position. Proposing a queen trade, but it's not going to happen. I can just take the pawn now. I can take another pawn. As I check. Now they're fine with trading the queens at this point. There are multiple pawns and a knight, so no problem for them to trade the queens. Oh dear. They don't want to trade the queens. Okay. We can grab that rook. Okay. It keeps getting more exciting. Now they want to trade the queens. Okay, let's trade the queens. Let's try not to blunder, shall we? I'll try not to blunder this. All right. The rook. I care about that pawn anyway. So I messed this up a little, didn't I? Maybe I did. Start pushing this pawn. It's okay, we've got this now. I think 14 seconds is enough. I just have to avoid a stalemate. So how do I avoid a stalemate? Or statement by bringing my king here, leaving them space to move. And mate. Oh boy. I messed up so much in that game. Obsask is backseating allowed. Well, I try not to read too much chat during the game. More like after the game. I blundered so much in that game, but my endgame tends to be stronger than most players at 1300 here. So, entering endgame. Entering endgame as black when white has +9. And somehow turning it around. I don't know how that's possible. That's not possible, really. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, we went for the Pirch. Once again with... One more time with the Pirch. Here, seeing do they protect the pawn or can I just grab a free pawn at the start? Nope, they protect it. No free pawns for me. Then, well... Maybe should have been more aggressive here, but... Going with these moves... Then they just... Don't want to keep fighting for some reason. Nah, I should have just taken... I mean, lose the knight, win the rook. Ah, that was such a great potential exchange. I was caught by surprise by this move, and I didn't evaluate it properly. Yeah, that's why I needed to take, because there was a free rook up for grabs, and it's no longer there now. Genshin just really wants me to get that knight somewhere. Oof. Yeah, that knight development to the side of the board, really strange. But here I messed up something. What was I thinking? I was thinking that I would get rid of the dark square bishop, but actually I'm just getting rid of this knight. Because I wanted to get rid of this dark square bishop there, but... This was just a knight trade, and that wasn't very useful for me, so... As we could see, then... It's like, this is too late now. Needed to do this. And there was still the knight there. Then if they drive it out, I take the knight, they take the queen, then I bring the other... Then I bring the other knight here. And then I would get rid of the dark square bishop. So I did things in the wrong order. Small things, but doing them in the wrong order is just so bad. I usually really like this queen a5 when I have a chance to play it in Pirch. I played a bunch of check Pirch, where you open with the d6 and c6, well, d6, knight f3, and d6, knight f3, knight f6, c6, and then you have a chance to go queen a5. And I do like that active queen. Sometimes it feels it's a little too early, but in this kind of Pirch, it's not really too early. It's in fine time. But I didn't see king b2. And that just made this a fortress that I didn't find the idea to penetrate. I was like, okay, what am I doing now? Genshin is telling me that you start pushing with the queenside pawns. Yeah, I guess that makes perfect sense. I should have just started the pawn push. Instead I figured that, hey, I'm going to relocate this knight. But... Like, I'm trying to get rid of the dark square bishop and I'm trying to relocate the knight. Those are the ideas. I want to bring this knight into this attack and then try to bring rooks and stuff, but that was not good. So the engine wanted me to check with the knight. What would have happened then? I mean, the king runs, but then what? The queen still has to run. But this does look a lot cleaner. That position does look a lot cleaner. But I just ended up trading the knight for the bishop. Bit of this and that. But yeah, the engine is constantly now... But sometimes there's like... There's a strategic idea that the engine really wants you to do. And whatever you do, it's always going to be worse than that idea. Then the engine is constantly going to tell you that, hey, do this, do this, do this. The general rule of thumb is usually bad trade of Fianchetto bishop. Yes, I am aware of that. But their bishop was instrumental to the defense of this king, or that was my evaluation anyway. So I was ready to defend this defensive bishop, or their defensive bishop, to try to open up an attack on their king. That was my idea. So obviously the idea was based on terrible calculation, but that doesn't mean that it's not a sound idea. It is a very sound idea to trade a defensive piece for their defensive piece when you're trying to push an attack. But this ended up being bad. Here I just really couldn't figure out what to do. Engine wanted me to withdraw here. Let them take, block the pawn. And then the engine is crying out, why are you not attacking with these pawns? Yeah, because here I just ran out of ideas. I didn't have an idea on what am I going to do. I just didn't know. Because I had no idea what to do, then I was kind of lost. And then here I ended up losing the bishop and the rook. I'm full piece down. My pawn structure is a mess. Yeah, that's not great. You could say that that's not great. I'm trying to get the queen trade, because if I could get a queen trade, I believe that I'm generally stronger in endgames than most players on my level. So if I could get this to a more quiet endgame, maybe there's something I could do. That's why I'm constantly trying to get that queen trade. Well, I couldn't get the queen trade, but in the end they managed to blunder their rook. So, back to even. Then some scary moments with some checks. Going to drive the queen out. Wanted me to check there. Yeah, I suppose that made sense. And then they want to trade the queens, and now I'm more than happy to trade the queens. And somehow, from my bad pawn structure and being down a piece, we're now in a position where I have two passed pawns here. And I have rook against knight. But I can still mess this up. That's still completely doable. I have blundered many rooks and pawns in the past. Yeah, no, we get rid of the knight, so the game becomes easier to play. I was thinking to always attack from behind. So what was the idea here? It starts to move. I think I moved that one step when I started moving it. Just, well, at this point, I have some few seconds. This is actually going to be a mate. And they have nothing that they can do to stop this. Just go for them, make a queen. But instead, I did this. And now it's like, why are you starting to push? And then once I started to push, I pushed with a6 instead of a5. Really? Die? It's just screaming, come on. Take it out there already. Yeah, h6 instead of h6 instead of h5. Oopsie, sorry about that one. On the other hand, once we got to this position, I don't think there was anything that could really happen anyway. And we just avoid the stalemate, and boom. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and check out my Twitch channel.